Guys, what's up? It's Josh from Fragrance Spot here, and today I'm going to be doing my first video, which I'm super nervous about because I don't do a lot of stuff in front of the camera. However, I did want to share my love for fragrances and be able to give a bit of a new perspective on fragrances as, while I'm not the most sophisticated in understanding fragrances, you're not going to hear me talking about all the different notes I pick up because honestly, I don't get I don't get them all, and I don't fully understand what each note is going to smell like. I can tell you the main things I pick up on and what it reminds me of. However, I'm not going to be able to really talk about every single note that a fragrance has. I will list them, however, I'm not going to be able to talk much about them. And the new perspective I want to give is from a different age group. I'm 19, and where I feel like the majority of people who wear colognes are more 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever. Personally, I think that fragrances are for any age, and you can really enjoy smelling good and feeling good about yourself whenever and however old you are. And so today I wanted to start with a fragrance that's special to me because it was the first really nice designer fragrance I purchased. Before this purchase, I bought Cool Water as well as Tabak Man. I got it in Germany, so I don't know if it's actually a fragrance here, but I'm sure it is. So the fragrance I'm going to be talking about is, of course, probably a fragrance you've all heard about, and if you're in the fragrance game, it's a very popular one, Dior Sauvage. Now, this fragrance does get a lot of hate because it's super popular, and some people think it's pretty chemically and don't like the notes too much. However, personally, I'd sprayed this on my skin in the store, and I absolutely loved it. I got myself a nice 60 milliliter bottle of the Eau de Toilette, and yeah, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, first, I will give you guys the notes. However, like I said, I'm just going to be able to talk about the main notes I pick up and what it reminds me of. I'm not going to be able to tell you every single nuance of the notes. Now, first, on the opening, we have pepper and bergamot. Now, the pepper and bergamot, those are both very, very easy to pick up on. Now, I've always been a big fan of bergamot. I think it's a great note. It's really, it has nice, citrus and sort of fruity, not fruity necessarily, but sort of that sort of note, and the pepper really blends well into this fragrance. The middle notes are what I pick up probably the least of, and I also can't tell you what half these notes actually are. Those being geranium, lavender, another Sichuan pepper, so another pepper, alamy, and pink pepper. And so you definitely pick up on a lot of the pepper, and I do pick up on some of the lavender. However, the other notes, I can't even really tell you what they are, like what they would smell like, so I can't tell you how I pick up on those. And then, of course, the base notes, which are very well known and are great, are cedar, labdanum, and ambroxan. I still can't tell you what labdanum smells like, however, whatever it does to the fragrance, it does a good job. And the cedar and the ambroxan you can pick up on very easily. You get quite the woody dry down, and the ambroxan really, I believe, gives it that kind of smoky smell. It reminds me a lot of, from that note, it reminds me a bit of Mont Blanc Explorer, where I do get a lot of that ambroxan, where it gives that kind of smoky smell, and I really do enjoy it. Seasons, according to Fragrantia, people don't recommend this for winter. They recommend it for everything else. I think you can wear this in winter. It has great projection for me. This is one of the first fragrances where it has an incredible atomizer. I'm not going to waste a spray because I'm mean, but it has such a great atomizer on this fragrance. And so you really get a ton of fragrance onto your body when you're spraying it, and it's distributed very, very well and in a great mist. And so you don't need a ton of sprays on this. This is one of the first fragrances that I wore where one of my best friends, I have two really close female friends, and one of them, this was the first fragrance where she was like, "You way oversprayed this. Like, I can smell it, like, I could smell you, like, before you even opened the door. That was way too much." And so since then, I've toned my sprays down a little bit on this, and she actually really loves the fragrance. So I personally really enjoy it. You do go a little bit nose blind to it. The ambroxan does help push it through. However, you do start to go nose blind to it like a lot of these strong fragrances. However, I personally really enjoy it. As for time of day, you can wear this at any time. Again, it works for whatever sort of weather. For me, it's even sometimes a little bit strong in the really hot weather. It starts to project really hard. and if you spray too much, it can really overpower you. However, I think no matter when you're wearing this, you're really going to get a lot of attention, and people are really going to enjoy it. Of course, it's a super popular fragrance, but there's a reason it's a super popular fragrance, and that's because it's a good fragrance, at least in my opinion. I personally really like it. As for other people's opinions on it, I can, again, just go off of the two main opinions from my best friends, who are female, and they both really, really enjoy this one. This was the second fragrance I wore when I came back from Germany. I was there for a while, and then I came back to visit the US, and this was the first fragrance I wore for my one friend, and she really, really enjoyed it, and after I toned down my sprays a little bit, my other friend also really, really loves it. I think they both rated it an 8 out of 10. As for projection, like I said, incredible projection. You don't need a ton of the fragrance. It's going to last you a while. I bought myself the 60 milliliter bottle. I have so many fragrances personally that buying anything more than that just isn't necessary for me. This was one of my first purchases, so it's not really, at the time I didn't know how many fragrances I would end up owning. However, personally I still love it, and this is one that I always go back to. I don't go back to a lot of my full bottles. As you guys know, if you follow my Instagram page, I own a lot of clone fragrances. For me, I don't have the money to buy a lot of these originals, even the decants, you know what I mean? Something like Baccarat Rouge 540, you're going to be spending $14, maybe more, on a 3 milliliter sample. And when I can go to Dua and I can buy myself a Casino Royale decant for like $6, and even less if you're buying it from people on the groups, that just works a lot better for me. And I don't care if it's only 80%, 60% would be a little bit sad, but like 80%, 90%, whatever. I'm still getting the taste of the fragrance, and I can tell whether in the future it's something that I'm going to want to pick up a actual bottle of. So that's my review of Sauvage Dior. I will show you guys off the bottle. It's a very clean bottle, and I really do love the cap on this. It's a nice magnetic cap, and you can definitely pick it up from the cap. It's never going to fall off, even if you shake it a little bit. It's not coming off. The atomizer is incredible, and it's just a great fragrance. And I know some people have talked about it being reformulated and the newer versions not being quite as good as the old ones are. However, I bought mine in 2019, and I still really, really love it. So I hope you guys do as well. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and let me know if there's anything I can do better on these videos. Like I said, I have not done any real videos like this before. I'm not that confident in talking to the camera. However, I hope I was still able to provide some good information, and hopefully I can help get some younger people into the fragrance game, because personally it's brought me so much joy. I love smelling good. I love being able to share a cool fragrance with other people, and that makes me really enjoy fragrances. And I think something really important is to remember that fragrances should be about yourself. Now, of course, it's nice to get compliments, it's nice to have people tell you you smell good, it's nice to pick up girls with fragrances. However, the big thing for me with fragrances is feeling good about myself and feeling confident, because when I smell a way that I want to smell, and I'm really loving a smell, like one that comes to mind a lot of times is Midnight Rendezvous from Dua, which is a clone of the original formulation of La Nuit de l'Homme. I always feel good about myself when I'm smelling that. I'll be smelling my arm. I always throw, if I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, I always spray into my elbow, because that way I don't rub it off on my wrist, and I'm just always smelling it. And same with Sauvage Dior, that's another one that I'm always smelling. Another one that comes to mind would be Empereur Eau de Parfum from Parfums Vintage. Those are all really, really great fragrances that make me feel great about myself. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any constructive criticism, please let me know. If you have any suggestions on how I can do a better job with the notes, because as I said, I'm new to this. I only started collecting fragrances at the start of the year, so in December. I guess that's last year, but, you know, the end of the last year. So I've only been collecting for about 6 months, or a little bit over that. And so I don't really understand what every note is going to smell like, and I haven't smelled them by themselves. However, I do feel like I can still give a good opinion on what I feel about the fragrance, and even if that's not talking about the notes, I feel like I can still give a good overview of why I think the fragrance is good and how it makes me feel. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye!